So obviously what we're doing here is we're trying to lay down themes in different places, kind of like Star Wars. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but it's a technique they call leitmotifs or something like that. So you have Darth Vader's theme, and you have Luke's theme, and you have Han Solo's theme, and those things are played out in different ways throughout the story, so that you kind of, when they come on screen and they are the dominant character, when they are in the controlling position, that theme is what plays. And that's basically what we're trying to achieve here. If we create 3 different themes and Cupid is the dominant character at that particular moment in time, then it will be Cupid's theme will play. We might be playing it really, really powerful for his battle scene, and then earlier on in the story we might be playing it quietly and playfully when he's just kind of having a bit of fun, that sort of thing. That's the general idea of that. So then what we want to do is, hopefully by that point we've found a composer who is in a position to commit a bit of time to it. And we need to arrange that across the entire timeline, and that's going to be a lot of work for somebody. Then when it's all kind of laid out and structured across the 7-minute timeline, we'll get various songwriters involved who will write lyrics, and they may have to rework some of what the composer's done a little bit, but the idea is to try and generally take on small sections and make them work. And now what I've done here is I've actually already written out some rough guides to the kind of content we want in the lyrics to go through, and these are like the absolute bare minimum. These are the points we have to get across. You can rewrite them as a songwriter, you can rewrite these differently, but the idea is to get these points across for each of these different sections. So you've got a section here with Devil and another one with Death, and then it switches to Cupid and so forth. And they might overlap each other, and you can expand upon them, or you might try and condense it, or you might turn it into a poem. But these are things for the songwriter to work on and improve upon, basically. One of the things I would heartily recommend everybody does when they come onto the website is have a good dig around in the discussion forum, and you'll find there's an entire section dedicated to sound. So that's over here on the forum, and you scroll down and you'll see sound, work in progress, film development. And this is where I would suggest you put all your ideas and questions and sample pieces. You can upload your sound here, little bits for everyone to listen to. And this is where I'll give you feedback and explain as much as possible. And the idea is that it only has to be written once if it's put in here, rather than me having to talk to everybody individually on emails and things like that and explaining something 10 times. So go into this section, you'll find all kinds of information. There's a full comprehensive sound effects list. We've got the musical architecture that you were just looking at there. We've got a few different people have put in song samples, and here and here, for example, and then we've got earlier sample that we put together. And we've got sections on particular characters' voices and all those kind of stuff. And then once we've got all the lyrics written and some sort of temporary versions of the singing put into the timeline so that we know it all works, we'll go ahead and we'll get professional voice and singing recording done. And we've got several people already signed up to do singing. So anyway, then we'll be looking for a final sound effects mix to go together with the arrangement and the voices, and somebody to mix the entire thing. And I'm quite happy to do that if necessary, because in fact I've got everything here already. If I pull this up, you can see I've got every single sound effect already in place. As you can see, we've already got sound effects, a good solid laydown of sound effects for the first half, well, the first third of the movie, and then it gets a little bit more sparse, and we're looking for people to get involved and help us out putting the sound effects down. In fact, there are a couple of people who have signed up and said that they're interested in doing that. When we get to the final ending, there's the credits. Now, the credits as they stand right now, there's a lot of names in there already, but when I arrange the credits properly and everyone has their appropriate title put against their name, that's going to get quite long. It could easily add another 30 seconds to a minute to the credits, I would suggest. So there'll be an opportunity there to fill some screen time there, and it just depends again on who's available and what's been worked on at the time. So first things first, I would suggest, if you're not a member, get yourself signed up. Just like the rest of the teammates, please go to the forum and go to the recruitment section, where you will find a thread called Register Your Interest. And this is an excellent place. Just read through the top paragraph here. I'm basically looking for people to explain what they're currently doing, how much free time they might have to give to the project, what they want to be working on, basically all the things that tell me how best you can fit into the project. And when you fill out your profile, there'll be an opportunity to say in your profile various different things. So for example, you can tick numerous boxes to say what things you can contribute to the project, so music, singing, sound effects, whatever. You can say how much experience you have and in what capacity you're working on it, whether it's part-time, full-time, for a short period or whatever. And then you can put some links to your website, your YouTube channel, your LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff. And those things are very useful for helping us understand what your experience is. Oh, and put a picture in there because it makes it much more memorable, because when I'm talking to people, if I see a picture, it just means that I'm far more likely to remember who you are. Now, another little thing we want to explain is we have a file sharing system called Dropbox. Not everyone has to have this, but the general idea of it is that there is a folder that sits on your C drive if you're on a PC. I understand a lot of musicians are actually on Macintoshes, so this will be in a different location. But basically I send you an invite to this system, and you'll start downloading a bunch of files that we already have. So this is sound effects, musical samples, voice samples, all this kind of stuff. The idea being that you'll get a little folder that sits on your computer with all the resources we're currently using in the edit. And if somebody, for example, was using Premiere, I would be able to give them my edit information, and they'd be able to load up the entire soundtrack to the movie and play with the edit. As it is at the moment, most people I think are probably using Pro Tools. Anyway, so the idea is that you can put files on here, and as soon as you drop a file into your own folder on your computer, as long as you're connected to the internet, it synchronizes with the cloud, i.e. out onto the internet. And so imagine it sitting out there on the internet, and then as soon as somebody else is on the internet, that file is then downloaded automatically to their machine as well. And what this means is that basically several people could be working on related parts of the movie, whether it's sound or visuals or whatever, and all of those pieces are constantly being updated at the same time. The system is very clever. We can roll back and replace files that were uploaded wrong or something like that. But it's a very useful system, and I would encourage anyone who's getting involved in the project to ask for an invite to the system if that's what they want. That's the general gist of it. The kind of influences we've been looking at as we've been going along were things like Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog. So two characters could be stood right next to each other, and one of them would be singing, but the other one doesn't hear them. Only the audience can hear them, and that's actually what we're trying to achieve with this. So it's kind of all the lyrics are actually musical thoughts, which means that we don't have to worry about two characters having a conversation. All we're doing is giving additional information to the audience, and we can have a little bit of fun with that and have lyrics that overlap and contradict each other, or show two sides of a comical situation from different perspectives. So I'm hoping to create some sort of funny lyrics and build on it in that way. So to summarize, we're looking for composers, songwriters and sound designers. If you're in the Austin area, I'd be very happy to meet up with you and discuss all the details and get a backwards and forwards workflow going. But if you are new, I would suggest you sign up on devilsangelsanddating.com, which is where we keep track of everything, and I do most of my communication. If you sign up somewhere else and communicate somewhere else, things can get a little bit lost, and my replies to you might get a bit delayed. But if you go to Devils, Angels and Dating and sign up there, you'll have everything you need, and I'll give you all the help I possibly can in order to get everything rolling. So thanks a lot, and hope to see you soon.